It's 6 p.m., and I call this meeting of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to order on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Cole.
Here.
Mr. Posey.
Here.
Mr. Morris.
Here. I'd like to introduce our new fiscal officer, Mr. Bob Matthews, and Judge Reddick will be administering the oath of office to Mr. Matthews. This is the reading of casualties. Chief Stegelmeyer, will you please proceed with the reading of casualties?
Good evening, Board. The following is a list of first responder casualties for the period of March 19th through April the 2nd of 2024. Police Officer Jonathan Diller, New York City Police Department, New York. End of watch March 25th, 2024. Deputy Sheriff Christina Musel, DeKalb County Sheriff's Office in Illinois. End of watch March 28th, 2024. And Agent Elizer Ramos Velez from the Puerto Rico Police Department in Puerto Rico. End of watch March 29th, 2024.
Will you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. Are there any special guests? Oh, sorry. We don't have any special guests tonight or presentations this evening, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any questions on the consent agenda? Okay, I motion that we approve this consent agenda. Can I have a second?
I will second.
Mr. Cole.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Mr. McCord, you have Resolution 2022-2024.
Yes, sir. The Resolution 22-2024 is an amendment to the appropriations for fiscal year 2024, specifically in regards to the renovation project underway or getting ready to start for the administration building. And so to do that, we're requesting appropriation of some of the America Recovery Funds, ARP funding that we received in the last couple of years, as well as moving some money out of our capital fund, number 301, back into the general fund so that we can proceed with the project. I believe we've covered that in a couple of work sessions up until now, and there's a cover memo from Administrator Schneider as well explaining the details. That this does comply with the requirements for the ARP reporting package that we send back up to Washington. So those were not included in the original appropriations because we didn't have the final figures at the time. I'll be happy to answer any questions I can.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Snyder, you have Resolutions 23-2024.
Good evening, Board. We do have a resolution for your consideration tonight that would authorize us to execute an agreement with a design build firm. Again, the purpose of this resolution is to gauge a firm to make necessary repairs to sustain the administration building into the future. We've had some water intrusion issues for a number of years. We've had an engineering firm evaluate the necessary repairs and prepare recommendations. And then we've gone through a process to select a design build firm. We had 2 responding firms to that request for proposals. And again, you've got a detailed memo in your packet tonight, which outlines some of the proposed repairs, including window repairs and replacements, along with a roof repair. This will also involve some exterior cleaning of the building, again, to try and bring it back up to kind of the conditions it was when it was originally constructed, and also reestablish our warranties for the roof and the windows. So the overall project cost is estimated at approximately $738,000 for these repairs. That does include, though, some contingency amounts, and this cost, again, was considerably below the other proposal that we received. So at this time, you have a recommendation within your packet to proceed with authorization of an agreement with Meyer Restoration as the design build firm for this project. So I'm also joined tonight by our facilities manager, Mel King. I want to again acknowledge and appreciate all of his help and support in getting this project moving forward over the years. And again, we're both here if you have any questions at this time. So,
Any questions? Mr. Carlson, you have Resolutions 24-28.
Good evening, Board. Resolution 24 before you tonight is a resolution to designate a Township trustee of Washington Township as the Township representative to the Montgomery County Land Reutilization Corporation. Ohio Revised Code requires 1 member of their Board of Directors represent townships with populations larger than 10,000. In Montgomery County, that's Miami Township, Harrison Township, and Washington Township. At least 2 out of 3 of the Board of Trustees representing these communities must vote and concur on an appointment to formalize this selection. Washington Township trustee Sharon Lowry previously served on the board for 4 years and has resigned her position. Washington Township trustee Brian Lund has been initially appointed by the Washington Township Board of Trustees, so vote of approval by the Miami Township Board of Trustees would affirm this appointment. In the past, Miami Township's had a great relationship utilizing the Land Reutilization Corporation and hopes to maintain that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to discuss. Resolution 25 is a resolution to affirm the members of the Miami Township Board of Trustees for the purpose of updating our trademark registration. Miami Township holds 2 trademarks. Both are more informal arrowhead design and the more formal seal. Trademark filings must be updated every 10 years, so the previous trademark registration has a current slate of Board of Trustees. So in order to update the registration, the board must affirm that they are the current Board of Trustees. It's kind of a circular approval of the current slate, but according to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, this is what we would need to do. If there are any questions on that, be happy to discuss. Resolution 26, a resolution to authorize the Township Administrator to execute a community cat program agreement. Miami Township and the Humane Society of Greater Dayton have a current community cat program, CCP, that has been active since 2018. This has been an annual renewal as the trademark language or the registration language with the Humane Society has not changed. However, they've had a slight adjustment to some of the language in their agreement. The community cat program allows township residents to bring trapped cats to the Humane Society to first be checked for tag or microchip to hopefully be returned to their home if they are indeed a owned cat. However, if the cat is not owned or identified, this agreement allows for the cat to be spayed, neutered, administered vaccines, and treated for fleas at no cost to the resident or to the township. The Humane Society has treated over 100 cats coming from unincorporated Miami Township in the last 4 years, estimating somewhere around 3,000 cats that have been taken off the street as a result of the spay and neuter program. So again, reduces the health of the homeless cat population, but also avoids unnecessary euthanasia. This agreement, again, is automatically renewed. However, due to some tweaking, we would need to update the agreement. And again, want to state there's no financial obligation to the township as being party to this agreement. The Humane Society has waived their typical $55 treatment fee for any cat originating from Miami Township. So again, township and resident do not pay any fee. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to discuss. Resolution 27 is a resolution to authorize the execution and delivery of an amended LPA federal ODOT-LET project agreement for the Kings Ridge Drive Transportation Project. Board, as you remember, ODOT awarded Miami Township $1.5 million through the Highway Safety Improvement Program project program toward the redesign and construction of Kings Ridge Drive. Kings Ridge Drive has long been a target area for sidewalk and safety improvements. The base cost for this project is right around $2.9 million, but accounting for inflation and contingency, we're closer to $3.6 million. So approval of this agreement would be the next step to continue down the path to get a formal final engineering plan and allow us to post an RFQ that would allow us to seek an ODOT pre-qualified engineer to prepare preliminary engineering and right-of-way work. Once applications have been submitted, the board would need to then approve and enter into an agreement with qualified applicants. But I want to reiterate that this is an ODOT-led agreement, meaning that once a final engineering package is prepared, ODOT will be the one to advertise, award, and oversee construction of the project. So currently, there is no financial obligation to the township. We still have to seek a pre-qualified engineer to be able to move forward. Staff does intend to apply for additional funding for the project, most notably the OPWC, Ohio Public Works Commission Local Transportation Improvement Program and the Montgomery County CDBG program. We hope to significantly close the gap on local funds, but ultimately the township would be responsible for any costs beyond ODOT's $1.5 million in construction costs. However, with that being said, after reviewing the health of the Kings Ridge TIF with the finance director, it appears that the Kings Ridge TIF can very well absorb any anticipated costs without having to borrow money. But again, hope to work to close that gap. If the board has any questions on that project, I'd be happy to discuss. And then finally, Resolution 28, resolution to approve an amendment to the appropriation of funds for 2024. In 2019, Miami Township applied for funding in support of the location of Cornerstone Research Group, a business on Washington Church Road. The project was awarded $200,000 based on their projected expenditures and job creation. The first $150,000 has already been paid out to CRG after they affirmed their capital expenditure target, and the remaining $50,000 is tied to projected employment count. CRG has now affirmed they have hit their projected 100 employees, an exciting metric for CRG's growth. So in order to issue a payment to them, working with the finance director, we determined that in any given year, this expenditure is not guaranteed, so rather we do an appropriation to prepare the $50,000 to issue to CRG. And then just as a quick side note, I hope you saw in the news, the township worked with two businesses, one a prospective business and one a growing business, to apply for new EDGE funds. So again, we hope to continue to connect businesses to these these funds for growth or location in the township. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to discuss. Thank you.
Resolution 29, 2024. Mr. Posey, you have that resolution?
Resolution 29, 2024 is a resolution to discipline a public employee, Jason Eder, pursuant to charges filed under the Ohio Revised Code, Section 505.491. We will be reading that resolution in full in the consideration of votes and motions.
Okay. This is time for public comments. Is there anyone here tonight that would wish to address the board? If not, we'll move directly into the consideration of vote for resolutions and motions. I ask for a motion to approve Resolution 22, 2024, a resolution to approve an amendment to the appropriation of funds for 2024.
So
Can I get-
moved.
I'll second.
I'll make a motion
We need
to,
to vote.
I'm sorry.
I think we need to
Oh,
vote.
yeah, we need a vote. Yeah, gotta be a little too efficient.
So you asked for discussion first. Did you ask for discussion?
Do we have any discussion? No.
No discussion.
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
I'll motion to approve Resolution 23, 2024, a resolution to authorize the township administrator to execute an agreement with a design build firm. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Abstain.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 24, 2024, a resolution to designate a township trustee of Washington Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, as the township representative to the Montgomery County Land Reutilization Corporation. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion?
okay, Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25, 2024, a resolution to affirm the members of the Miami Township Board of Trustees for the purpose of updating trademark registrant details for the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 26, 2024, a resolution to authorize the township administrator to execute a community cat program agreement. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 27, 2024, a resolution to authorize the execution of and delivery of an LPA Federal ODOT LET project agreement for the MOT Kings Ridge Drive project within Miami Township. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2824, a resolution to approve an amendment to the appropriation of funds for 2024. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
I make a motion we adopt resolution number 29-2024, a resolution to discipline a public employee, Jason Eder, pursuant to charges filed under Ohio Revised Code Section 505.491. Whereas an executive session by the Miami Valley Township Board of Trustees was held on March 20th, 2024. The Board of Trustees brought a recommendation for a disciplinary action against Assistant Chief Jason Eder. And whereas the charges consist of the following violations. 1, Miami Township Harassment and Bullying Prevention Policy, Leadership Duties, and MTPD General Order 4.1A, 9.2C, and 9.2H, nonfeasance. Number 2, MTPD General Order 4.1A, nonfeasance. Number 3, MTPD General Order 4.3B, 9.2A, and 9.2H, misconduct in office / malfeasance. Number 4, MTPD General Order 4.1F, 4.1G, 4.3B, and 9.2A, malfeasance. Whereas, after due consideration of the testimony and evidence, the Board of Trustees finds that 1. As to the first charge, Assistant Chief Etter violated the Miami Township Harassment and Bullying Prevention Policy, leadership duties, which states, department heads and supervisors at Miami Township are appropriately trained and have an affirmative duty to maintain a workplace free from any form of harassment and to assure all employees that they are not required to endure insults, degradation, or exploitation. It is the responsibility of any supervisor or department head who receives a complaint of harassment or bullying to inform the administrator of the allegations so that a prompt investigation may be conducted. The evidence indicated that Assistant Chief Etter was aware of a claim of potential harassment. The evidence revealed that Assistant Chief Etter did direct his subordinate lieutenant to investigate the claim. Assistant Chief Etter failed to follow up with the lieutenant about the claim, which is a breach of his duty and responsibility as a high-ranking officer in the department. This breach must have consequences. For the record, it is important to note that the potential claimant informed the township that there is no truth to the claim, and she has a very good relationship with the alleged harasser. Assistant Chief Etter did not violate MTPD General Order 4.1A, which describes a dereliction of duty as a failure of supervisors to immediately take action when a violation of rules or policies comes to their attention, regardless of the supervisor's or violator's assignment or rank within the department. The evidence revealed that Assistant Chief Etter did direct his subordinate lieutenant to investigate the claim. Assistant Chief Etter violated MTPD General Order 9.2C, which describes a cause for dismissal, demotion, or suspension to include incompetence, inefficiency, or neglect of duty, and MTPD General Order 9.2H, which describes a cause for dismissal, demotion, or suspension to include a violation of any enacted or published statute, rule, policy, procedure, or other written directive. The evidence indicated that Assistant Chief Etter failed to follow up with the lieutenant about the claim, which is a breach of his duty and responsibility as a high-ranking officer in the department. As to the second charge, Assistant Chief Etter did not violate MTPD General Order 4.1, which describes a dereliction of duty as failure of supervisors to immediately take action when a violation of rules or policies comes to their attention, regardless of the supervisor's or violator's assignment or rank within the department. The evidence indicated that no judge communicated with the assistant chief about allegations of racism. The evidence also revealed that to the extent such communications occurred with other members of the police department, those allegations were investigated and addressed. As to the third charge, Assistant Chief Etter violated MTPD General Order 4.3B, which states, no member shall at any time, either directly or indirectly, ridicule, mock, harass, deride, gossip about, or belittle any person. No member shall make offensive or derogatory comments, either directly or indirectly, based on race, color, sex, religion, disability, sexual orientation, or national origin. MTPD General Order 9.2A, which describes a cause for dismissal, demotion, or suspension to include conduct becoming an employee in the public service, and MTPD General Order 9.2H, which describes a cause for dismissal, demotion, or suspension to include violation of any enacted or published statute, rule, policy, procedure, or other written directive. The evidence revealed that Assistant Chief Etter derided and gossiped about members of the police department, which violates MTPD General Order 4.3B. This conduct must have consequences. Additionally, the evidence indicated that despite being ordered to not retaliate against officers for certain reasons, Assistant Chief Etter indicated an intent to retaliate in a conversation with a subordinate employee. Although there has been no evidence of retaliation to date, the mention of intent to retaliate, whether that was a real intent or just talk, cannot be tolerated. As to the fourth charge, Assistant Chief Etter's counsel filed a motion to dismiss the charge due to it being unduly vague. The trustees find that the charge is unduly vague and does not provide sufficient information for Assistant Chief Etter to prepare an explanation. Therefore, the trustees grant Assistant Chief Etter's motion to dismiss Charge 4. Charge 4 is dismissed in its entirety. Therefore be it resolved that the finding affirming the above charges necessitates that the Board of Trustees consider relevant facts and circumstances regarding the employment of Assistant Chief Eder with the Miami Township Police Department, including his work record and experience with the department. And it is hereby resolved, the Board of Trustees of Miami Township has chosen to administer the following disciplinary penalty: an unpaid suspension for 30 calendar days and then demotion to the position of lieutenant, with no ability to serve in an acting capacity above the rank of lieutenant effective immediately. No part of this suspension can be served through the use of accrued leave. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I was not at the hearing, so I will be abstaining from this vote.
Yeah, calm down. Okay. Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Abstain.
We have no public hearings tonight, so we'll move on to the department heads. Chief Stegelmeyer.
I have none, thank you.
Mr. Carlson? Mr. McCord?
I have none either.
Mr. Matthews?
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Snyder?
Just real quick, Board, again, for the public, we are doing our fishing derby again this year. That will be Saturday, June 1st, rain or shine. We will be getting additional information out on signups for that. Again, that's a fishing derby for youth in the township. I want to, in particular, note and thank, again, our Community Development Department. You heard a lot of projects that they're working on tonight. They do a lot to bring funds back into the township and into the community and help leverage our existing community funds to bring those projects forward. So we obviously, everyone I think is aware at this point, there is an eclipse on Monday, April 8th. Again, we are encouraging people to do what they can to watch that from home. Please do not call the police department unless it is an emergency, as they will be very busy handling what is projected to be a large volume of traffic that day. Obviously, again, have proper eye protection if you do choose to try to view the eclipse, but in particular, we're noting people to please be patient, expect potential for long traffic delays that day. Make sure that you've got gas in your vehicle, that if there's medicine or things that you need to get, that you're not trying to do it that afternoon, particularly once the eclipse is over. They're projecting that we may have a large number of people all trying to get back onto the interstates to leave the area immediately following that event. So again, try to be patient, and if you are in the area, if you are a township resident, I would encourage you to do what you can to watch that from home and not have to be out on the roads that day. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Morris?
So I'd like to welcome Mr. Matthews and just a reminder to him in his duties of office, for which he just took an oath of office. He is our fiscal officer. He's run for many positions in the last 6 years, including trustee twice, county commissioner, and now he's been elected our fiscal officer. Is Mr. Matthews making sure you understand, work with the other fiscal officers in this area, but I'm concerned when you say you want to balance the budget. It's not your job to balance the budget. It is the trustee's job to come forward with a budget. It is not your job to be working with our police department and trying to optimize efficiencies in the police department, nor their economic development department, nor the administration. There are very specific duties of a fiscal officer, and I would like to encourage you to focus on those and those alone.
Thank you.
Mr. Posey?
Yeah, I appreciate Mr. Snyder's warnings about the eclipse, but I hope everybody has a good time and enjoys being in the path of totality.
Yeah, I also appreciate your warnings about the eclipse. If you've read any stories about the eclipse in 8 years ago or so, I think it happened down in Kentucky. Maybe it was just a partial, but the roads are jam-packed. You will not be going anywhere after the eclipse. So I appreciate the police department. I don't know what kind of plan you can possibly put together to deal with it, but I'm glad you guys are on it. Also, just one short comment about the fishing derby. I heard they bought bigger bluegill, is it, this year?
Yes, yes.
Okay, they're like 13 to 15-inch bluegill, are they? Is that? No.
Maybe not quite
Well,
that
you'll
big.
have to catch them to find out how big they are.
Some of them may have grown up to that size.
All right, so yeah, I hope everyone is able to attend that in June. All right, we're going to adjourn this meeting at 6:30.